Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Ben Piscopo here at the YouTube channel Hiram Bifidum. Watch here so I know what time it is. Being that please bear with me because a lot of my videos to some extent are going to suck because my editing is not bad. It's non-existent because I don't have the software. I'm going to do the best I possibly can to show what I refer to as a part of what I call Akhplar. That's spelled A-K-H-P-L-A-R, which is an acronym standing for the words Anti-Karachi Hypothetical Plan Response, which you can spell from right to left in Hebrew and probably Arabic or Aramaic as well, or even Farsi. Ayin, Chaf, Pe, Lamed, Resh. That would be Ayin, silent, the A, Chaf, K-H, Lamed, L. No, correction. P would come first. Ach, P for pay, and L for lamed, and then that vowel, P-L-A, planned, resh, response, anti-Karachi, hypothetical plan response, the letter chaf, K-H, a guttural sound, you get what I mean. At some other point, I'll show that on the whiteboard how that's done. See, how far are we? Almost 2 minutes. Do is to prepare for anywhere from 5 to 8 days worth of food in about 2 hours. So what you do is, this is all impromptu, didn't plan for it. You set up your breadcrumbs, preferably unbleached flour. 2 different pans that are capable of conducting heat transfer better than average. I'm going to try and make this video somewhere between a half hour and 45 minutes, as best as I can show. Have all of my purple clown costume on. That's really not that important for this. That there, this here, this, ain't that a riot? Yeah, that's nice. The breadcrumbs cost just as much as the meat, and maybe even more than that. That's another little story I gotta explain in order to help so that doesn't get screwed up. Okay, the eggs. Typically in a container about this size, not exactly sure how large that is, might be about 2 quarts. That would be typically 58, 66, about 18 different eggs, 18 or 19 of them, in order to mix and go through it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Akhplar, anti-Karachi hypothetical plan response, is just a simple, fancy way, an embellished way of describing getting ready for a day's work or of what you need to bring with you and what you need to do in order to get a medium-skilled labor task done over a given period of time. 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. These are large eggs, by the way. 19. And the current sale, which they're sold at in Walmart, is $4.99 for a total of 60. Now, you get your blender, egg beaters, which is a primary purpose. Take them and set this for about the first to the second of 3 different settings that it have. One of them might work in a power drill, but really not a good idea to do that. First, second, third. You really want the first and the second, and you set this up and you go with this as such until you know that you've got it homogeneous, uniform throughout. Go to the second setting, continue to move around until you know you've got that ready. You got that all together. Leave this in here just, let's see, for a moment. Yeah, take eggs out, this out, get that back in the refrigerator or over to where it's in a safe place. To dispose of it properly and not make a further mess, which is time consuming and expensive. Move over, get the extensions, the egg beaters, out of the machine back. Put that away, and with a 5-gallon polypropylene food bucket where you keep your poultry in order to grill the chicken, carefully thawed over a period of time. So you're just right. You take it and you smell it. Okay. You know, it doesn't smell like there's anything wrong with it. You know you're okay. If it smells bad, that's because it is bad. Therefore, you shouldn't eat it. That may be extremely dangerous. Now, when you buy this chicken in 5-pound packages, you have better chances of it being cut better and filleted better than a 10-pound package that comes from the Good Choice brand coming from Walmart. Get all of these in here into the egg manner as such. And where are we on time with this? About 7 minutes into the video. Try and get this where I can see it. Work on this. Getting all this and see how quick I could successfully get this off and show in this video at least the first section of such. Get it all in. Have no frost. Alright. This out. And get this into a container. And then each time you want to do that, really want to wash your hands carefully each time so that you don't have to worry about contaminating yourself. The juice from the chicken can be harmful. Be careful. Be careful. Be discretionary. Don't spill your poultry, your chicken juice around. Don't let it get on anything. That can build up. Different types of Campylobacter, different types of Escherichia coli, and other very nasty, disgusting, smelly, horrible bacteria. And the second bag, which the first 2 sets most likely go through. Get that off. The more the mess you make, the more time consuming it will be to clean it, the more it will cost in cleaning supplies to take care of it. See how many of these we could successfully get inside of here. It's not too bad as long as it's not going too far away. the closer you have things together without unnecessarily moving them around, the better off you'll be when you prepare it. Okay, now just wash again. Got that filled up. Hands. Oh boy. Oh, that's what happens when things get damaged. Unbelievable. Nerve-wracking. That back and direction stove. This here. This back and refrigerator stay in place. It's not going to spill. Move too quick and you shake and rock it, that'll cause a splash. Personally, I use peanut oil. You should use some kind of cooking oil that is light, as opposed to dark like extra virgin. It's good bang for the buck. It's better than Crisco. It's not as good as something such as Admiration or Bertolli, but it does work for it. Go for some time. The Good Choice Walmart brand and the Luana are good for that. Now, as such, you want to get just enough of the oil inside the pans to 11 minutes, 48 seconds. Okay, well, you could set this up any way you want. I forgot the way I was usually doing it. Typically, for me, I like to have my breadcrumbs closer to me and the flour a little bit further away. Get this in here. Go up and around with this until in the flour first. In the flour first. Okay? Second, take it and you get it back inside the egg batter mixture. Rest of them. Because that shakes a little because I wasn't paying attention. I was doing burnt it. Explain that in a second. Then you put it in your breadcrumbs. And you make sure that they're completely around it. You get this, each one of these in a safe spot inside of here. Wow. Not the healthiest thing to do to keep on eating, to clean your fingers over and over again. Every so often you might need to rewash. You could put this into a cup. So, you want to fill up both pans, both frying pans with chicken. 13 minutes, 15 seconds. Work at this and try to get this set up perfectly with one hand, the other one being clean so you can move around with it. Like that, put it in a cup. This here, a little bit lumpy and hard. As you continue on doing this, both your breadcrumbs and your flour will get lumpy and hard. Again, step one, put the boneless, skinless poultry, flour, then the egg mixture, then from egg mixture to flour, back to egg mixture, then the breadcrumbs. Everything I've learned here is a combination from different advice from different people that includes a elderly woman that went by the nickname Booby, which means Yiddish for grandmother, that appeared on JLTV network for some time with her grandson Josh. She didn't really care to discuss her real name simply because did not really make that big of a deal or doing it to get attention. She was just very kind-hearted and wanted to help anybody that had the patience to watch. He looked a lot like her. And she showed anybody that watched that program how to prepare all kinds of things. God rest her soul. You name it. blintzes, chicken, meat, how to work with matzo squares without making a distasteful mess, everything from literally soup to nuts. Okay, again, same process, keep going till you got that in. Go through, again, get the breadcrumbs on. If you're working really quick at it, really quick at what I'm trying to show, you can successfully have all of this done in approximately about 2 hours. You can cook 10 pounds. You're able to prepare 10 pounds. You can get modular food storage. That combined with complex carbohydrate, pasta and or mashed potato portions into that, you can have a whole meal that can get you through a day's work of anywhere between 3,000 and 4,500 calories to keep you going. The human body has, I believe, is it 22 or 26 amino acids? Maybe I'm wrong on that. I'm not an expert in biology, a dietitian. But in human protein, there are 8 of them that you have to get from. 6 of them are automatically produced to make building blocks, to make muscle, that no matter what food you eat, whether it has a complete source or not, you'll get from anything. There are 2 more of them for a total of 8, and the only way to get them is through meat and poultry products, unfortunately. So a lot of the supplements that you get from general nutrition centers and places like that, Vitamin World, are extracting that as a source. And check the phone to 17 minutes. See if I can move quick with this. You can add gravy to it. In the end, you can have different kinds of barbecue sauce you can add to it in the end. But it is important to understand that with no refrigeration, it will go bad even faster with the gravy. And when it goes, it goes. It is both unpleasant and potentially toxic. As is any kind of food service contents left unclean or unattended. A combination of my father's, mother's, brothers and sisters. His maternal aunts were experts at this. They knew just precisely exactly how to brown and create meatballs, chicken, steaks, so on and so forth. Culinary and cooking techniques that their parents learned from, that came from East Coast, peninsular Italy. There was a family on the road on the street that they lived on in Westfield way back in the early 20th century that prepared food the same way. A lot of that family worked in installing sheetrock, so hence the unofficial nickname drywaller's fuel. The unique way that they created that meat sauce, in order to do that, just enough Scoville heat units, not too hot and not too bland, and then you could get it in quicker and therefore get you through a strenuous day's work. Now, do this, you typically want for your oil to be at about the halfway point of the cutlets to 21 minutes. Wow. Not quite going as fast as I thought they would. As this progresses on, you will want to add a little bit more. Realistically, after you're finished with it, in order to continue to get it to come out good, if you could afford to, you should dispose of the cooking oil after each batch of chicken you create. My particular stove that I'm using, try to set at a certain heat, which I never really seem to get right. This is used in order to get that on, simply because there's something wrong with the flint striker. Turn this on first, this second, never the other way around, get that lit and it's good. No, it's not dangerous, it's the other way around, it's sort of keep it safe. Anybody worth their salt with common sense will tell you not to have gas heaters going, like crazy things that you see in movies and television shows. Assassins with Sylvester Stallone, a TV movie way back in the day made with Cliff DeYoung and David Keith, so on and so forth. This, you have a LaFleur seasoned salt, containing what are its ingredients: salt, sugar, paprika, black pepper, dehydrated onion, dehydrated garlic, red pepper, tricalcium phosphate, that's what, 7. Those ingredients are those preservatives: marjoram, thyme, basil, rosemary, savory, and oregano. So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the equivalent of Colonel Sanders. Pretty sure that's on or close to his secret 11 herbs and spices, but it's not going to be quite as rich or taste as great as Kentucky Fried Chicken, simply because there are other things in that include monosodium glutamate and different kinds of flavorings, which are similar to chicken flavor that you would get in a package of instant ramen soup. Good amount of this, depending upon how you like it, to get this in here, and the surfaces of the chicken that are exposed you want to get it onto, so that if it's not too much is in between and it ends up not really being effective. In the back of this, marjoram, thyme, basil, rosemary, savory, oregano, on Italian seasoning. Combination of Italian seasoning and seasoned salt. A good, healthy amount of this, but not too much, not drowning in it. Get it back, making sure that you don't get too close to steam, because that could get it stuck in between by condensation. Get all that on. So we're up to 24 minutes, and you continue to have this going on my particular stove. I have to alternate these back and forth. You should also have simmering screens above, on, or close to the whole size of the pan. I'm not doing that. Please do as I say, not as I'm doing. You'll thank yourself a million times over at not making as much of a mess. Not to mention, if you are delinquent on that and you don't take care of it, in addition to making a yucky mess, which you kind of have below that, you can have an accidental grease fire. That's beyond bad. That's dangerous. Again, not really that much different from running one of those gas stoves without the gas being lit. Not funny by any stretch of the imagination. So you can kind of see this bubbling on the right. Start shifting this over. Said just how to keep on flipping them back and forth. For that, use a pair of tongs. This. Around here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different dishes carefully placed around safe spots. Not much unlike a waitress would do in a restaurant or store other things while they cool down. And oftentimes they'll take table napkins, cloths, and other things and put them in between their arms in order to safely walk around. If they don't have carts, used just like busboys. This continues to go. What you do is you lift up to see whether or not you got it browned on the other end. Now up to 26 minutes. Really trying to get this from a half hour to 2 hours. Remember, if you turn around, do not turn your back on this. No matter how tired you are, don't lay down and rest. Don't go watch cartoons. Don't go play video games. My mother, in addition to screaming and yelling at me to wash my hands before I eat, which at this point with COVID-19 respiratory illness pandemic probably, no, way more than likely has saved my life so far. Don't turn your back on the food. Never does it become more prominent. This is not like cooking an egg. Not like that. It's more sensitive. You've got to keep checking. You've got to keep alternating. As this continues to cook, you want just enough brown on the bottom of them until you get it for heat transfer through the meat. It's not as tricky or necessarily as hard as cooking a turkey and checking the thermometer from the inside of the turkey, because you can't necessarily cut all the way inside, but things could still go wrong. These particular pans made by Tefal conduct the heat better, so that helps. Now this is starting to get a little better here. It's a little bit newer. And in addition to that, what we got here? Around, so now I want to do this pan, turn these around. I guarantee you, I promise you, if you feel that tired that you might lay down in the middle of it or have something distract you, or you can go to the bathroom, do yourself a favor, rest and sleep it off before you end up wrecking your food, possibly damaging your cooking utensils along with it, and maybe even having a dangerous health hazard and disaster. Now let's check the side of this. Yeah, this is about time to turn this. Try to lower this a little bit. Okay. Get this here. Look, trying to show them that I'm not, but hey, look, man, I'm not bitter. Rachel Ray, by her own admission, does not have the credentials of a chef. I'm nowhere as near her. She's not even where the other people are, even though some people do unjustly, unfairly, and rudely make fun of her on their own websites. There are certain things that are certain. Some of my co-workers that I work with as a refuse collector actually complimented me on the food. They said that it smelled good. Wow, that meant a lot. As good, maybe even more than my older brother Nick telling me, wow, Wow, Benny, you've got some development in your arms. Coming from a big-time weightlifting and fitness and conditioning guru like him, yeah, that means a lot. Where are we at now? 30 minutes at the half-hour point, yes. So in about 45 minutes, 3/4 of an hour, they say an average YouTube video, according to on very good advice coming from the U.S. Army military YouTuber and vlogger Matt Ward, good video on that, or Nikki MGTV, about 15 minutes to a half hour. This will go for about 45. It's necessary, okay? And now take this spice, like I said, and you get this on here a good amount. Do it relatively quickly. You can't play games. You gotta be diligent. You gotta focus on what you're doing. Put that in there good. Again, take the tongs, start working it into it. Now you got that out. Good. Alright, go back, flip these, and go back again. That way you know, quite get there yet. Good heat transfer. If you bought the 10-pound bags instead of the 5-pound bags of Good Choice brand chicken, then you might need to get a fillet knife similar to this here. Very carefully cut through the meat. Don't be like my maternal grandmother, as opposed to my mother's mother, as opposed to my father's mother, and don't take vegetables and meat and put your hand on the other side of the blade. Oh my God, no, don't do that. Do not do that. Okay, so look at this. This here. Where are we at here? It's looking better. As I said before, remember, there should be simmering screens up here. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, flip these again. Start lowering these amounts. Yeah, they're conducting and they're going through pretty quickly. Don't want it too hard. Now, I'm going to reach over to that camera, I'm going to pull it out, or I'm going to take the whole tripod, and I'm going to lean forward, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing here, in order to explain and show that the cooking oil, of which I use peanut works really well. That gets this in good here. So I put a little bit more of it in it in order to maintain it at about that average 50% height of the meat. Okay. And I'm going to show. Take a look at this, and you see that in that pan, it's going down a little less than half, and that pan is staying at half as I continue to try and do this.